Hello and welcome to the video. This is a first look at a couple of chargers from ToolKitRC. Now, one of them is the M4Q, a quad charge smart charger, and the other little one is the M4AC, a single battery basic charger, but definitely an upgrade from the stuff that you get with some of the ready-to-fly kits. Now, I have quite a few things on the bench that I keep on the bench that are from ToolKitRC. Things like the M8S, the M8, multifunction chargers that also can read S-bus and PPM signals. In fact, I've just used one of those in a video that I've just completed where I was showing the signals coming out of a receiver. They're great pieces of test equipment. I've also got the watt meter here. I've also got the servo tester. And they're handy little devices that are worth their weight in gold when you need them. Now, some of those devices can act as a battery charger, but these two things seem to be the first serious battery chargers from ToolKitRC, so I thought I'd get them in and kind of run them through their paces. So let me first of all start off with the bigger of the two, the M4Q. So while I unbox this, let me go through the specs. This M4Q will run on 100 to 240 volts, pull a maximum of 1.5 amps, and it'll also run on 10 to 18 volts DC, so something like a car battery. 4S battery would be perfect, maximum of 20 amps. Type of battery supported on here: LiPo, LiHV, LiFe, lithium ion, 1 to 4S, nickel metal hydride, 1 to 10S, lead acid batteries, 1 to 8S as well. Balance current, when it's doing the balance part of any balance, is going to be 240 milliamps, and the balance accuracy does seem to be pretty good. This will run on both mains power and a battery. To be honest, I've been running it predominantly on mains here and it's worked pretty well. Voltage range is 0.2 to 5 volts on each of the charge pieces. The mains cable that you get with it has the wrong connector. I'm going to have to snip that off and put my own plug on here, and you do get a little cable to connect to the computer. You can connect it to the computer and update the firmware. Now, this is about 450 grams in weight and by 150 by 112 by just under 37 millimeters. The screen is a 480 by 320 pixel color screen. Sadly, isn't touch. Boots up, and then you get these nice summary screens, one for each of the inputs, and to change between them you press the channel exit button to pick them, and then you can use the roller to set the charge current and everything else and type of battery, but also you can measure the resistance on here, and that's a really nice function. You can measure the internal battery resistance and it does seem to be pretty accurate. So let's just set up charge on here. So this is a little 850 milliamp hour pack. This is what I used to use on the really small ZOHD models. So we can see it's 2.27 volts. We've got all the readings of the individual cells. So let me just select that, make sure we've got the right battery type. Again, we've got all the different types listed. Obviously, we just want good old LiPo. We can pick the number of cells, we'll leave that on auto. We can charge or storage charge. Then we can select the end voltage, select the current that we want. I'm going to go for 0.8 of an amp as this is an 850 battery. Then scroll through the output that we were setting, hit start, confirm we want to do it, and away it goes. And that is charging. So it's pretty easy to set up. However, one thing I've noticed, you'll see in a sec, it doesn't remember the settings on each of the ports like some of the chargers that I have here, which can make it a little bit faster. So let's charge this next one up. This is an 1800 pack. I think this is 3S as well. Let's plug it in. So that's in output 4. So again, we're going to have to press the channel, go across, hit enter. It's still at 0.8. It always seems to pick the last one you've got. It would be nice if it stored the current on each of the ports. And then again, scroll to the one we want. It's defaulting to the right one, hit go, and away we go. If we scroll while it's charging, then it will show us the battery resistance. It'll take a moment to get it, and you can hit and press enter and change the charge current, and it'll go all the way up to 5 amps. Let's just keep it back there. Press exit to go back. And that's pretty much all you need to know. It's measuring the internal resistance. This is a pretty modern battery. It hasn't been abused, so it's good. This older battery is 14, so it's probably getting towards the second half of its life. I'll have to keep an eye on it. But that's how easy it is to use. It isn't particularly tricky. Next one to look at then is the baby brother. This is the M4AC, a little compact mains powered single battery charger. Now this one is an awful lot more basic. There isn't all of the kind of things that you can do on that much bigger charger. It'll work again on AC 100 to 240 volts and it'll pull a maximum of 30 watts. This one will only support LiPo, LAHV, LAFV and LiPo storage, and again it only supports 1 to 4S. It'll charge a pack from anywhere between half to 2.5 amps at a maximum of 25 watts, and it'll use a balance current of about 200 milliamps to do it. 75 by 54 by 30 millimeters, but it feels quite a solid little unit. 240 by 240 pixel color screen, and there isn't an awful lot of options on here. There's literally one little button that you can use to change the settings. So this one we will have to plug it into the mains. It'll boot up. So if I bring it up to the screen, you can see at the top you have the different voltages for the different type of battery, and then we have 4 options. So it goes 0.5, 1 amps, 2 amps and 2.5 amps. So there isn't a lot of granularity for the battery. I would always err on the side of caution. So with everything plugged in on here, you can decide how you want to set it up and how you want to charge it. And then when you've got it set up already, then you can plug your battery in, and as soon as it's plugged in, it will start charging. So be aware of that. Don't charge the battery in before you've got all of your settings done and ready. So there we have it. That's a quick overview of these first 2 units. Now I've only been using them for a week or 2, and so far so good. They are working very well. So I can't speak to how long they're going to survive and work well. I'm going to need at least another 6 months of playing with them to do that. But initial impressions are very good. They are very easy to use. This larger one, I think if you're a pilot that uses 3 and 4S batteries and likes to charge numerous ones, and it takes you hours sat there the day before you go to the field to get them all done, this is going to be right up your street. And the smaller version, I think that's going to be handy if you have a ready-to-fly system. You don't want to spend a lot of money, but the ready-to-fly battery chargers tend to be very, very slow. And the limitations on here make it a little bit basic, but it's a major upgrade to the kind of stuff that you get in some of the ready-to-fly kits. There are a couple of things to be aware of. Obviously, it only supports up to 4S batteries, which is a bit of a shame. 5 and 6S in quadcopter land is very common now. Not a huge amount of power. On this one, it's 50 watts for DC, 100 watts on AC. But if you're not using very big batteries, and I guess if you're not charging 6S packs all the time, that's enough to do several packs at once without getting into trouble. Only one lot of connectors on here. It's either XT60 or XT30 for both of them. It would have been nice to have an adapter or 2 in the box, but you could always buy yourself some adapters. I tend to make my own here to go from JST to XT60 or XT30 to XT60 or even XT90 to XT30. It would have been nice to have those choices, but I guess if you want that stuff, be aware of it. If it isn't XT30, if you get that version, or XT60, you're going to need some adapters. And don't forget, you're going to need your own power lead. This one does run from both battery and from mains power. The little one just runs from mains power. With mine, it wasn't the right plug, but you could always snip that off and make your own. But it's a standard connector on here. It's nothing wacky, so you can get one of those, or it's quick and easy to put your own plug on the cable that's supplied. Last couple of comments, they are absolutely fingerprint magnets. They are like mirrors, and as soon as you start touching the screen, you are going to leave fingerprints. And it is easy to do, because I keep forgetting that this isn't a touch screen. It kind of would have been nice if it was. It would have made navigation quite cute, but you very quickly get used to just the left-right scroll wheel, press to enter, and the button to cycle through the individual pieces. Similarly, this one is literally one little button with a short or long press. There's a lot to do on here, but with a bigger screen, maybe a touch screen would have been nice. Who knows, maybe in the next version. Now, I am not going to be using this smaller version because I have other battery chargers that I use all the time. So if you've stuck with it through to the end, congratulations. If you'd like to be considered for the prize draw for this, as usual, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and I'll do the draw in a couple of weeks, and this can go out to somebody that will be useful potentially at the field, or maybe you have a need for a second charger, a little battery charger, or maybe you're relatively new in the hobby and you just want something that's much better than the horrid thing you got to be ready to fly quad. So put your name down below, comment, like, subscribe, usual stuff. But hopefully that's been interesting for those of you that have seen these listed and wondered what they were. Thank you for watching my video and watching right to the very end. If you want to find out what I'm currently working on, you can follow me on social media by searching for Painless360 in the usual places. If you'd like to become part of the inner circle, then you can become a Patreon. Details are in the description and you get lots of additional benefits. Check out the playlist section on the channel too. I organise all of my videos into playlists, and it's called something like Introduction to or for Beginners. All of the content is aimed so that you can start at the very beginning, and it teaches you that subject, starting with simple principles and moving up to teach you everything you need to know.